Hello, you. How are you? I hope everything's going well with you. This is Candice with Happy Catastrophe, and I have a new project book, and it's one that involves you. Yep, you've seen this on Amy Ward Art's channel. This is from Critical Role, and this is the story of Fearne Calloway. And Fearne has a color your own quest. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to introduce you to this book, and I'm going to color the first page. So here's the ISBN for you if you're interested. I purchased mine off of Amazon, and I got it for around $11. So this is the story of Fearne, and I'm going to actually be reading this to you and explaining how this goes. As you see, I've already started it, and I'm using acrylic pens. Now, I only had the Languo acrylic pens, which my version are terrible, as you can see how spotchy that is. I'm not sure if spotchy is a word, but that's definitely spotchy. And I go over it a second time, and it doesn't make it any better. It's still just as spotchy. I'm showing you which version it is. It is the M720s, and I just think they're terrible. But if you, later on, I do use them in a book where I want intentionally splotchy, painty looks. So they're good for that. But once these are gone, I won't be replacing these. I wanted to make sure you knew these suck. The Guangna are fantastic. But the reason I can go over all the lines and everything is because this dries transparent. These aren't opaque. The nibs fall apart. They're just not great pens. However, I have them, so I'm using them. And in this case, it's going to work out just fine because I'll do some embellishments that make it all better. But you can see how watery these pens are and how transparent they are. So, this is the story of Fearne Calloway. So this book starts out with an explanation. Tread carefully, adventurer, for there are many paths that lie before you. This is not, let me get more comfortable here so I can read this better for you. This is not your regular by-the-numbers coloring book. This is a journey into the Fey realm through the mind of our favorite little mischief maker, Fearne Calloway. You may encounter fractures of reality, fragments of delirium, and even fictitious nonsense. We do not promise that you will be the same person coming out of your journey as you were going in, nor do we expect you to be. You can color however you please. In fact, coloring outside the lines is encouraged. This book is about choice, after all. If you reach a dead end, worry not. There are always second chances, and third chances, and fourths. Last, like any role-playing game, this book has mechanics. So, this is how this book works. And here I show you that I've switched to the Guangna acrylic brush markers. I really, really like those. Here's my swatch. And I'm going to start matching some colors up and work on some of the taxidermied animals she's got around her. All right, back to the explanation. When a page asks you to make a choice for Fearne, choose your favorite answer and then flip to the corresponding page. And that's how this first page is going to go. But then later, when a page asks you to make a roll a D20 die, which is a 20-sided die. Any result between 11 and 20 is a beautiful backslapping success, whereas results between 1 and 10 are devastating backsliding failures. So I do have one of those die here, but in today's video, we don't need it. So as I continue to color this, I am going to switch it to, I think I will go ahead and put it on some double time while I read the next part. Now, all that I am doing with my page here is coloring with the Guangna acrylic markers. Those are just so fantastic. And by the way, I saw a 72 set on Temu today for $14, so definitely that's a good way to go. I think I ended up getting mine off of Amazon, and I got the 68, I think. I got a bigger set, but it wasn't super affordable. I didn't think so. So I would definitely recommend looking at Temu, but make sure it says Guangna, because there are duplicates out there, and they put them in the same box. The box looks exactly the same colors, same font, everything. It just doesn't say guangna anywhere on it, so definitely look at the pictures. Okay, so let me switch this to double speed, and you'll see me coloring along, getting all the parts of this page finished. Hold on one second. All right, so now that you've got me going a little bit faster there, you can watch my coloring or color along with whatever you're coloring while I explain how this page works. So here's the story of today's page. Fearne awakens in her room at Ligament Manor. Okay, I don't know anything about Critical Role, but I think the name Ligament Manor is funny. It's like ligament, like tendons and ligaments. It probably means something different. Please let me know in the comments if it does. So she awakens in her room at Ligament Manor. This is her childhood home and a sanctuary from the unbridled chaos of the Fey realm. She peers curiously at the taxidermied heads that watched over her as she slept. Strange creatures rarely spied by even the most wanderlust-stricken explorer. So I assume those taxidermied animals are like the alligator-type animal, that dinosaur-type animal that I just finished coloring above her head. It's actually stuffed and not alive. And then she has a couple of others down lower on her bed that we'll color in a little bit. "Wake up, lovely," says Nana Mori. "The day is only just starting. Or is it ending? Hard to tell. I brought you breakfast with some milk and whiskey on the side. Come." Well, breakfast sounds good. I don't know about the milk and whiskey, but yeah. To Fearne and a fairy, I guess milk and whiskey is a great breakfast. But also playing with Mr. or other wonderful friends sounds good. I don't know who Mr. is yet, but I think we find out. So we have choices here, my fellow explorer. 3 choices. And what I'm going to do is list these 3 choices, and at the end I will have a little graphic reminding you what the 3 choices are while we finish coloring this up. But the first choice will be she eats her breakfast of milk and whiskey. So how many of you vote for the milk and whiskey? And I'll put a poll. Can I put a poll? Yes, I think I can. There should be a poll in the comments on the YouTube channel on this video. If I'm unable to put a poll, just write your option, what you want. Do you want the milk and whiskey? And what I'm going to do is tally all these up after the mid-month. We're going to go to July 15th, and you guys can all vote on what happens next. Okay. So she eats her breakfast of milk and whiskey. Jack is making a lot of noise. Or she asks where Mr. is. Now, we don't know who Mr. is yet. We don't, but Fearne obviously does. Or your third choice is she befriends the amazing taxidermied animals. Okay, so these are our choices. She's going to eat her breakfast, she's going to ask her mom where Mr. is, or she's going to befriend the taxidermied animals. So what happens next? Well, on the page, what's happening right now is I just got out my beloved Languo gel markers. Now, these are phenomenal. These are the original ones with the little tiny nibs, and I get them to work best by doing this. Tapping lightly, rubbing the end, the nib, so that I can get any dried paint off, and then I cap it, the end. What do they call that when you put the cap on the end? Oh, words fail me. But that does the same thing that you'll see in other colorings where I put some kneaded eraser on the end. The capping works just as well. It just basically plugs up those air holes at the end of the pen and adds more pressure to the gel ink that's coming out. And you see it flows really well while I do this teapot. I love these pens, and I use them pretty much in every single page I do, whether it's blending or coloring or adding accents. Here I'm straight coloring. And you'll see I do a little bit of blending later with some embellishing. But back to our choices. So how this works is what the book is telling me to do is if we all choose that she's going to eat her breakfast first, we go to page 2. And see, I haven't flipped ahead. I have no idea what's happening with Fearne throughout this book. If we decide she wants to ask where Mr. is, we go to page 3. And if she decides to befriend the amazing taxidermied creatures, we go to page 4. So what I need is your help in deciding what she does next, because I have no decision-making power. That superpower passed me by. I can't decide. So I thought, well, I'll let you decide. And I will color these pages, and it works a lot like my, well, I have a couple other series of videos like this. And one is the Haunted High Rise, which a lot of you follow. And we've done the Haunted number 1 and number 2 story, and now we're going to be on the number 3 murder mystery this month. So be on the lookout for that, and that's where I color one of those pages, and you try to pick out the clues from the page and from the story on who murdered who and how. That's a murder mystery one, lots of fun. This one is a choose your own adventure. So definitely help me decide what happens with Fearne next. And hopefully we're not rolling any die yet, so I don't think we have any possibility of a negative outcome. I think this is just rolling the story along. So I think we're good here. Okay, I am going to stop talking for a minute, put on a little bit of music while I finish coloring this, and I'll be back with you. Okay, one moment. All right, so moving right along, I've now taken out some more colors of the Langlo gel pens, and I'm going over lines. Sometimes I go over lines to hide them, and sometimes I go over lines to accentuate them, but just in a color that makes more sense. So these are folds in a blanket. I actually am not quite sure what that is. I just interpret it to be a blanket wrapped around a pole, wrapped around a pole that's holding up the bed or something. I'm not sure what all this is, but I'm interpreting that, what I'm coloring now, to be wood, and what I just finished coloring as tapestry or fabric blanket of some sort. And I took a slightly darker Langlo gel pen and went over the lines to indicate the folds in the fabric, because folds in fabric would just be darker colors of the color of the blanket, right? They wouldn't be black. So that's one trick I do, is that I don't always take out all the lines, and sometimes I leave black lines as well. I have found when I take out all the lines for very detailed pages, it makes it hard to see the details sometimes, and I don't like the end result. So I kind of keep looking at it as I go to decide if I need to take out more lines or not. And I usually don't get it spot on, but it's a learning process every time I color. So here I'm going over some lines and making some designs in the wood. I don't end up using very cohesive browns here, so that it doesn't look very realistic, but none of this does. I mean, she's pink and orange, and she's glows with gold glitter languid gel pens. So I also decided that I wasn't going to make her the same color throughout the book. I know a lot of people do that with characters. I get bored way too easy. So in order to keep me interested in a book, I have to change it up a bit. So for this book, I'm just going to say that she's a fairy and she can change her hair color and her skin color. She's magical. She's a magical creature. If I had magic, I would do that too. So that's what's happening with her. All right. You might have caught that I switched to these glitter Languo pens. These are the Languo Gel Plus pens. They have a bigger nib. I think someone in a comment, or maybe it was a message, asked me if I knew the name of the larger Languo pens, and I think it's the Plus. They do have a pen that requires you to push down that most people are not liking. They like these that just sort of flow on their own. I don't know what that pen is, but they're starting to get more different sorts of pens, and it's a little confusing when you go on Temu. This is a glitter plus pen, but they also have some brand new glitter pens that come in mixed color packs. All right, I finished the rest of it off camera, and here she is, Fearne Calloway. So, what do you think? It's all acrylic markers and gel pens, that's all it is. The paper on this is a little bit thin, and they're double-sided, so that's probably what I'll be using throughout the whole book. All right, remember your choices. Let's see, 1, she eats breakfast. 2, she asks where Mr. is. And 3, she befriends the taxidermied animals. So make your choices in the comments below. If you don't see a poll, just write it in the comment. And you have until July 15th, of which we'll turn the page, and I'll pick whatever was the most popular, and we'll go to that page and see what happens next to sweet little Fearne. All right. And you, I hope you're having a wonderful coloring evening. I love having you here in my cabin with me. It is so much fun to spend time with you. And just remember, I love you. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening.